Hi Gemini, welcome to your fortnightly check-in with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign, Gemini, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So, something different, something new, yet again, I know, I like to keep you on your toes. Let me know in the comments, do you love it? Do you loathe it? There is no astrology in these readings. This is purely tarot for those of you that are purists. For those of you that miss your weekly generals, and well, not generals, but you know what I mean, your weekly sign vids, this is a little way halfway between you and me, right? So hopefully you love them. Let me know. So for your first triplet, you are looking at your actions and results. Okay, so you've got the Magician card. That is literally you, right? Like the Magician card is Gemini ruled, right? So that's Mercury. So look at that, right? You show up very strong as yourself this week and really, sorry, we'll have to, let me see if I can. Okay. Hopefully you can see that a bit better. All right, so this week, should I say this fortnight, you are very much showing up as yourself, right? And so a lot of the things that you're setting into motion, this is really about you reaching or going for your personal next level. Then you've got the Two of Swords. So intuition is going to be very powerful this week, all right? Pay attention to the things that come up. And also, when it comes to some of the things that you are setting in motion, just know that you are balancing out who you're becoming with what you are kind of now, all right? So this might be a case that there's some conversations that lead you to realize, wow, okay, do you know what? I've changed way more than I thought I had. And in order to kind of go to whatever that next level might be, there's going to be more change on the horizon again. Then you've got the Four of Cups, okay? So one thing that I do want to say to you this week, it's not so much about streamlining your focus. Your plate looks to be very full already. I would advise against adding more, right? Whatever you're working on at the moment, keep it at that specific level so that you can work towards whatever you're working towards at the moment unhindered. The other thing as well, check in, like, because in terms of your results, it does suggest, you know, these are some good results that are coming, but it does suggest that maybe it's like when when we've got too many things to do, like usually you guys can do pretty much anything with everything with both hands. This is not one of those periods of time. This is a time for you to get specific, right? None of this skimming over the surface business, none of this drawing from a million different sources. This week you have to rein it in, this fortnight. This week, I know everyone's out there like, does that mean he's going to bring the weeklies back? No, it doesn't. But what I will say is this week you've got to get to it. You got to get to it, all right? It's not about streamlining the focus. It's about dealing with what you have on the plate now and then moving on to the next thing, all right? For your career and your studies, your career and your communications, you have the Seven of Wands. So there are potentially some tough conversations to be had this week, especially because that Seven of Wands falls on top of the Magician card. So this may be where you have a conversation with somebody who maybe thinks they know best. And the truth of the matter is, I don't think either one of you does. I think the problem that you have is you've got very different ways of doing things, whether this is a teacher, a lecturer, a boss, an employer, an employee. There's something here where you are clashing because it's the Seven of Wands and the Page of Swords. So that is potentially some hard words or hard conversations that will need to be had. And it may be that you realise, okay, you know what, you don't know. And it's not that nobody knows what they're talking about. It's just that maybe the way that you're both approaching a problem, an issue or a challenge that has arisen, it doesn't work, all right? So it's like you're going to have to find new compromises or new ways of doing something. Then you've got the Two of Wands. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, one way that this could work for you, or could show up for you even, it may very well be that you are starting to see, not that there's a click, but there's an agreed way of doing things, and there's a not so popular way of doing things. And this might set you apart. Over this fortnight, you might set yourself apart. And maybe that's what needs to happen in order for you to step forward. Now, the Seven of Wands coupled with the Page of Swords, like I said, it's conversations that you'll need to have. I mean, you're a master of communications anyway, so you should be fine. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, you might strongly disagree with an opinion that somebody who is more learned than you, maybe it's a professor, maybe it's a teacher, maybe it's a lecturer, maybe it's a teaching assistant. And it's not to say that they don't know what they're talking about. It's just that you've either stumbled upon something that, while you are right, you don't necessarily understand fully why you are right. So it might be that you've intuited something and you've kind of struck gold with it, but you don't really have the basis, the knowledge, or the expertise to kind of back it up. And so be mindful this week, because there might be something or some arena where you're a bit of a gifted amateur if you're studying. And it's like, don't make a name for yourself now, right? Use that natural curiosity that you're known for. For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this week it could be, I like this actually for having the conversation to say, listen, everything else is going up. When are the wages going up? This is a good week to ask. Do expect some kind of kickback and maybe the usual, well, you should just be lucky to have a job. Like, bitch, I give you my time. Excuse me? About I should be lucky to have a job. So now you understand why Rap is self-employed. And can't work for anybody else. I didn't do very well in employment or education until I was able to choose the things that I was able to study, etc. So, for those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, this week you might have a dispute over a price. So you may have bought a service or a product or whatever, and maybe the supplier, maybe what they give you doesn't quite cut the mustard. That's a saying we have here in the UK. Maybe do you know what I mean? It's like whatever it is that you're getting, the price point is not equal. And so you might dispute that this week, and you might have to dispute it hard. For those of you that are retired and no longer working, this week could be a good week to have conversations around your vocation. It might also be a good week, like it could be for those of you that are retired. I wonder if you have a conversation this week that prompts you to kind of say, you know what, by debating this out, I actually realise I've got a lot of useful knowledge and information that I'm not doing anything with. For your love and relations, you've got the Five of Cups, with the Ace of Pentacles. So potentially hard conversations around money, finances and resources. For some of you, this could also be letting go of or releasing a place that you live in. Very possible. Then you've got this with the Three of Swords. So straight away here, I'm seeing two cards of loss, right? You've got the Five of Cups, that's traditional loss. The Three of Swords is, something that we let go of that hurts in the heart space. For some of you, this fortnight, you may end up having a conversation about, okay, well, we're going to need to move. We need to change our location. That's one way this could show up. Another way that this could show up, though, is for those of you that are single, especially if you've kind of, been talking to someone and seeing how it goes. And, in my day, we called it seeing someone. That was when you were you weren't boyfriend and girlfriend or boyfriend and boyfriend or girlfriend and girlfriend. You were just kind of seeing how it goes. And it was casual, but kind of committed, but not, but kind of ish. If you've been in one of those kinds of situationships, this week, I think, or this fortnight, you're going to get really clear on whether it is or isn't working and whether you are stepping forward with this person. For those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this is a very serious conversation about money this week that will decide a lot. And that is as much as I will say on it. For your money and materials, you've got the Ten of Cups. Beautiful. Nice. Okay. With the Page of Cups. Okay. And the Six of Wands. Now, your personal finances, money and resources seem to be doing very, very well. I mean, look at this, right? There's money coming in. There's money that you're drawing in. Now, that Ten of Cups falls on the Five of Cups. I hate to say this, but it is a potential that that may be an inheritance of some sort that comes through. Especially for those of you that have been waiting for news on an inheritance for some time. This could be where it actually shows up. For then when it comes to your physical health and vitality, I really like this for physical health and vitality, because that Six of Wands with the Page of Cups suggests that where you've put the time and the emotional investment to improving your health, this fortnight you're going to start to see results, right? This is, let's say you really double down on your diet. And this is where you start to, oh, okay, yeah, something's happening. Maybe you have started doing stretches or, strengthening exercises for that shoulder injury that you've had. I'm just giving a very specific example. But this is where you can start, oh, wow, I can finally lift my arm above my head. I wasn't able to do that before. You see the payout this week for hard work that you've been doing to improve your health. When it comes to your home and environment, I really like this. If you're selling a home or buying a home, this is really good news that comes in around that. If you're looking to rent, you find a really decent property at a very good price. If you're looking to extend or something of that nature, this looks really good as well. So that's the different sectors of your life. Now we're going to look at the cross purposes. What may or may not be happening behind the scenes that you need to be aware of. What are the energies, trends or themes that are blocking this for you? Sometimes they're coming from within. Just got to call a spade a spade. Sometimes they're coming from an external source. So let's have a look what they are and where they might be coming from. So your cross-purpose energies. The Devil, right? So this is all about not only our self-sabotaging tendencies, it's also about where we have rigid beliefs that we are kind of accepting, well, that's the way that it is. This can never change. It's always been like this and it will always be like this. This is where you are being fatalistic, deterministic, and kind of not being very open-minded, which for a Gemini is very rare. So I am going to say your self-sabotaging tendencies, patterns, addictions even could really rear their head over this fortnight. So it's something that you just want to be mindful of. And to cross that, you've got this with the Ace of Cups. So I am going to say, if you are a drinker, a smoker, or anything like that this fortnight, you have to really get on top of your vices, right? If this is a way of thinking, if this is a specific thought pattern or process where something can only be one way, you're being invited to realize that actually that feeling, and this is something I've been personally dealing with for probably about a month. This is self-sabotaging tendencies that arise due to a feeling, and where this is coming from is very likely to be some part of your emotional history. All right, so with that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments, do you love it? Do you loathe it? I apologize about the light and the cards. I am going to be doing something about that literally within the next week. I'm just waiting for a few things to happen. So we won't have to deal with this much longer. All right, but let me know in the comments, did you love it? Did you loathe it? How does it speak to you? How does it show up for you? And I hope it's a suitable replacement for your weeklies, and I hope you love them. With that said, take care, and I'll see you soon.